Mary Washington captured its 15th straight CAC Men's Swimming Championship last winter, led by three-time Athlete of the Year Alex Anderson, who won 7 gold medals at the event. Anderson and York's Kyle Walthall went on to represent the CAC at the NCAA National Championships, with Anderson winning 1 gold and 2 silvers, and Walthall collecting a pair of All-America honors. Despite the loss of Anderson to graduation, Mary Washington remains the preemptive favorite for this year's championship meet. The Eagles were the unanimous favorite in the preseason poll and posted a perfect 5-0 mark against conference competition this season. Can anyone challenge the Eagles for the top spot this weekend? Let's find out as we take an inside look at each squad entering the 2016 championship meet.
For CAC champs this year, our goals are to continue to move up in the conference, to continue to score more points than we have in the past, and to get swimmers and relays to earn all conference honors for the first time. I think this year we're going to have our highest point total ever. We've got some male swimmers that should get NCAA qualifying times along with these CAC qualifying times, and we should give the rest of the conference a run for their money as we continue to push towards the top.
As a team, we would definitely like to score higher in the conference, have our relays score higher for sure. And as an individual, I want to get my first 2 NCAA cuts.
Last year we graduated 3 seniors, Jeff Page, Brian Sense, and Jacob Aylward. Fortunately, none of them were point scorers for us. They were all great leadership guys, but from a point depth standpoint, we're not going to be losing too much.
We've definitely had a lot of good competition throughout the season. At our invitational, right before Thanksgiving break, we definitely had good competition. A few of us went to finals at that. I had 2 wins there, and I think those meets definitely got us ready for championships.
Key returners for us are Christian March. He took 3rd place last year in the 100 and 200 breaststroke. Earlier this year in November, he was ranked #1 in the nation for about 2 weeks and is currently inside the invited times list for the NCAA and has a great shot at making NCAAs. We've also got James Williams, who is a conference finalist in the backstroke events, Dion Yarbrough, another conference finalist in our backstroke events. Markel Proctor should have some strong showings in the freestyle events.
Definitely the relays. The relays get everyone going. It's a lot of adrenaline going there, and that gets everyone pumped up for their individual races, and it's really fun to be a part of and to see. So.
Key newcomers on the men's side are Sydney Horton should have a phenomenal year. He's one of the best sprint freestylers in the conference. And then we had one of our biggest freshman classes, about 12 guys. They should add some depth with all the relays.
I think it definitely gave us great competition. Like I said earlier in the season, it got us ready for champs by putting us under pressure, tight races, and I think it'll definitely help the team.
It's always nice to be able to swim against all the conference opponents, get an idea of kind of what you're going to be looking at come CAC championships. So from a conference standpoint, it's a great prep and opportunity to get some races in against our top competition that we'll see at CACs. And then at a conference, we've had some really close meets that we've been able to pull out and had some really great racing throughout the year. And the men's team should finish with their most wins regular season in about the last 6 years.
The small community, all the athletes kind of coming together, everyone kind of hangs out. Our team's really close, and it's fun.
To be better than we were the meet before, and we talk about that from day 1 in the season, building on the stuff that we're doing in practice and trying to be better every time, and ultimately that should come together with best times and a really great atmosphere and people achieving things they didn't think were possible. And if we do all the little things right, then hopefully we will win events and put ourselves in a position to bring home 2 more titles. But that's kind of not the ultimate goal for us. I think the big goal is focusing on being better than we've ever been. And if we do the things that we can control, and we control those things, like we should be able to bring home 2 more titles, which is always a fun way to end the season.
Well, I think we have a really great group of guys this year, and I think obviously the expectation every year for us is to win it. And then for me, I would love to bring home my first individual CAC title. That'd be cool my senior year.
On the men's side, we graduated Alex Anderson, and that obviously for us was a huge loss. He was the NCAA Swimmer of the Year in his junior year, national record holder, national champion. So I think on the men's side, that's a big loss.
Well, obviously winning, hopefully, most likely, but I don't know. It's always fun to swim fast and just be with a team. Everyone's high energy at the meet, and it's definitely the funnest meet of the year.
I think our senior class is incredibly strong. At one of our dual meets, I made the comment that everyone in that class had won an event at a dual meet. Most of them have won relays and individual events at the conference level as well. So if you look across the board at all of our seniors, incredibly talented group. And then, there's people in every class that have been named Rookie of the Year, Swimmer of the Year that are coming back. So I think we're just very lucky that we have an incredibly talented group that works hard and pushes each other every day in practice. And from that, it's really hard to pick specific people necessarily.
Well, I can't really think of anything specifically, but the training trip is always a great time, and it's always good to go to Puerto Rico and swim with the whole team. But like I said, it's a really great group this year, and the whole year has been fun for me.
We have a very solid class of freshmen kind of across the board. We're a little bit smaller on the men's side with 4 swimmers, but when you look at all of them, they all have the potential to be top 3 in their events at conferences and challenging for wins. They've been very consistent performers in dual meets, so I think, all of our freshman guys have a lot of potential.
We've been training really hard this year, getting a lot of good yards and a lot of fast swimming, a lot of good meets where we're tired and broken down, and then going into a long taper will be good and good for some fast swimming.
I think, in terms of our dual meet schedule, we swim, 8 or 9 meets across the course of the season, so we're not nearly as, competition heavy as some of the other sports. So I think every time that we race, we really try and use that as an opportunity to learn so that we can prepare ourselves. Swimming all comes down to the end of the season, so every time that we have a meet, it is just prep for the end of the season. The men were 7-1. I think their first meet was like a little bit shaky and, again, adjusting to some of those losses and people stepping into new roles, but since then they've just been rock solid, and that's really exciting. To be a combined 16-1 between the two teams is phenomenal. And I think, in terms of our training, we prepare for this all season long. This is what we are focusing on and preparing for, so it's super exciting to kind of see it all coming together. And I said to the kids at our last dual meet, we're ready to go right now. We're not rested. We feel, tired and broken down, and we're swimming incredibly fast. So I think it just builds that excitement heading into the conference meet and making sure that we're, doing the little things right so that now we can just kind of enjoy the last 3 weeks and get ready to swim fast.
I like how the student athletes here are all kind of a family, and everyone at least recognizes and knows each other and knows you're a student athlete, and it's kind of a community.
I'm a Division III student athlete, and I know how powerful words can be. The term gay doesn't mean stupid, lame, or less than.
So I pledge to speak up if I hear the term gay used in a derogatory way or any other homophobic terms.
If you can play in Division III.
I'm a Division III student athlete, and my teammates unconditionally accepted me as part of their family. So now I pledge to do the same for others. If you can play in Division III.
We want to compete, we want to compete. Again, lots of personal, everybody do personal best time, that's number one. ECAC qualifying times, NC2A qualifying times, hopefully. The team score, we'd love to win, we'd love to be second. It's as dependent on what the other schools are doing as what we're doing. So if we come out of there, everybody doing lifetime best times and competing well, I think regardless of the place, we'll be happy.
So my goals for CACs as a swimmer is I'm really concerned with, I want to win the 50 this year. I hope to get a little bit better in the 100. And really where my biggest concern is I want to send a relay to NCAAs. Marymount's never sent a relay, and we're pretty close, so I think we'll be able to do that this year. For the men's team's goals, we You know, there's a lot of electricity going on. We're really excited to go as CACs, and last year I think we ended up 5th, and I think we should have been 3rd. And this year we're hoping to be 2nd, only behind Mary Wash, and to really close that gap for next year, for our senior year.
This year, you know, you got to look at Tyler. He's been training well. His confidence is high. He hasn't lost the 50 freestyle in a dual meet yet this year. If he doesn't make nationals, doesn't qualify for NC2As, I'll be disappointed for him. I think he's got a pretty good chance of winning that event and making nationals. Breaking our team record in that, which is a long old team record. So he's going to be a standout at the meet. Matt has great potential as well. He swam great at York. He's, starting to finally get back in shape, get the rest that he needs after being beaten down in Key West and physically tired. But across the board, we've got a newcomer in Trey Brown who's going to make an impact. I think he's going to surprise some people. Ross Wiley's back. He's going to surprise some people that didn't really see much of him in the first part of this year. Will Bryan, training hard, looking good in breaststroke events. Some of our freshmen, John Mobley, going to do well. Just a hard worker who's going to get rewarded for that, I think. Some real talent in Isaiah Jones. People probably aren't looking at his name on in the sprint freestyle events, but he's going to surprise some people, I think, as well. So, and the rest of the men's team just adds a lot of depth. Wes Wilson training hard, can swim a bunch of different events. Robert in the butterfly. Ian Griffin probably going to break our men's 200 butterfly record this year. If he doesn't, again, be surprised if that doesn't happen. So Shaka gives us some depth in butterfly as well. So we're feeling pretty good. Right now we're just a little weak in the distance freestyle. We're going to sacrifice some points there. But across the board, and I think the most exciting race of the weekend is going to be the men's 200 free relay. Mary Wash is seated a couple tenths of a second ahead of us. Both teams close to qualifying for nationals. Our guys are looking forward to that race. I'm looking forward to that race. It'll be fun.
Beating Mary Wash 200 freestyle relay. I'm going to be #1 this year. So something that's a memory for me, and it'll probably be the memory for pretty much the rest of my life in terms of swimming, was the York meet. We came out, we cheered really, really hard. Every race mattered to us. It was just really, really cool. It was so awesome coming in, and we were supposed to have a close meet. We just kind of blew them out of the water from start to finish.
I think for them, beating York the way they did, and I understand York's, they've had some coaching transition, and that was tough for them to swim a meet at home on that Saturday and travel here on Sunday, so they may not have been their best. But the way our men raced against York, we won 9 of 11 events. The events we lost, they have an All-American in that one event. He's a stud. We weren't going to touch him, and we don't have any depth in the distance freestyle. So we lost those 2 events, but otherwise, across the board, our men really swam well that day, and I think that has elevated their level of confidence. They're excited, and one of the things, the preseason poll had our men ranked 5th, I think, and our men have kind of they had that on the bulletin board all year and kind of looked at it every day. And to beat York, we haven't beaten them in a long time. It gives them a lot of confidence going into the final meet.
In terms of scheduling, it's been actually a little rocky with like the snowstorms and stuff. We've had a lot of weekends where we're swimming back-to-back meets. And we tried to look at it as, when we get to CACs, get to Randolph, it's 3-4 days of swimming, and we've been doing that, every few weeks. So really, in terms of the schedule, I think it's actually helped us instead of hindering us. I think it's going to really make a big difference at CACs. We won't get so tired on that 3rd day.
The CAC Student Athlete Advisory Committee promotes community service as one of the pillars of the organization's mission. CAC SAC members have impacted the communities surrounding their campuses in a variety of ways over the years.
The student athletes realize that it's important to give back to the community and make those connections between community members, whether it's nonprofits, whether it's groups of kids and clubs and organizations, whether it's senior citizens. Student athletes realize that, and they want and they have a true desire to give back to their community.
It's really important because it lets other people know what the Student Athlete Advisory Committee is about, because most people aren't aware of what we do. It bridges a gap between the communities, the student athlete community and the outside community.
It's very important for SAC to be involved like this. Whenever you have athletes that are very passionate about causes, and to put good people towards good causes is the best thing to do.
I think one of the most important functions of SAC is, the community involvement piece. It gives back to the school, it gives back to the community, which makes both better.
For the gentlemen, I definitely expect them to have solid races and to probably better their times. I know Grant Burgess is probably going to have a couple close swims and definitely maybe breaking a couple records. I expect them to have really close races with all of our competitive teams, but I think in the end they're going to all post best times.
Individually, I would like to break the team's mile record. That's been a goal for me since my freshman year. As a team, I would like to see us get second at championships this year. I think our team's looking a lot stronger than it was last year, so I'd like to hop back up to second place since we kind of slipped last year.
I think looking at our roster, pretty much everyone that's come back since last year, juniors, seniors, and our sophomores, I think they're all going to be in the position to score points for us. I know this year our senior boys, Mike Abrams, Michael Spear, Zach Lilly, Keon, and Grant, I think they're all going to be scoring points for us. They're all going to be in different relays. So everyone's a key player this year, which makes a really good team for the boys.
I'm looking forward to seeing how the team does. We had a very good training trip where a lot of people really stepped up to the plate and did a lot better than they had been doing in practices the first half of the season. I'm also looking forward to it since my last champs and it'll be my last chance to step up and go the times that I've always wanted to go.
We have a lot of them. I think Colin is definitely going to step up to the plate. We had a new addition in the middle of the season, Blake, and he's shown to be really good in our distance events. So he's going to come in and do what he can do for us after coming in second semester.
I think I like to use our invitational as a good indicator of how our championship meet is going to go. Since it's set out the same, it's 3 different sessions, so it's set up just like the championship meet is, and we taper for that meet a little bit, and we also put on fast suits. So I think and it's also halfway through our season, so I think that's a good indicator, and also prepares people to swim for like a bigger meet.
I think the season schedule definitely showed that our swimmers get stronger as the season goes on. I think the best meet that we had was our last meet, the most recent meet, which was against Salisbury, where our gentlemen posted record-breaking times, and I think we're going to continue that momentum from our last meet into champs.
My favorite part of being a student athlete at the school is just getting to be part of a team. Everyone's really supportive of each other, and it creates a very good atmosphere to be a student athlete.
It's on us. It's on all of us. And it's time to act now.
We are calling you, all of you. We are calling all Division III schools to join our cause.
To recognize that non-consensual sex is sexual assault. To identify situations in which sexual assault may occur.
To intervene in situations where consent has not or cannot be given.
To create an environment in which sexual assault is unacceptable and survivors are supported.
This is our It's On Us pledge. It's on us to make a personal commitment to help keep all people safe from sexual assault, regardless of race, gender, sexual orientation, or ability.
Not to be bystanders to the problem, but to be leaders of the solution. We invite you to join us in this campaign by informing your campuses about the It's On Us mission.
Educate your student body, faculty, staff, and local community on how to prevent sexual assault and how to support survivors.
It's on us to start the change. It's on us to be the change. It's on us. It's on Division III. It's on all of us to stop sexual assault.
The goals and expectations we have for the team, we would really like to be second. The men, the highest the men have ever placed in CAC is third, so we're really shooting for that second place this year.
My goals and expectations for upcoming CAC championships individually is to place in the top 3 in my individual events as the 4IM and the 2 fly, and hopefully make the A final in the 2IM. And as a team, we want to place second for the men's team. We want to come like within striking distance of Mary Washington.
Every year we lose people that have made a difference, but the interesting thing about the team is we always have somebody step it up and really come back and do a nice job and fill in that spot. So we really haven't lost much.
What I'm looking forward to most about this year's championship event is that we have a strong team, and I think we're going to be able to do some damage against York and St. Mary's.
Our key returners, we have a solid group of seniors. We have Will Goff, Jake Blazer for the men. We also have key people in Stephen Arcidiacono, Connor Johnston, Travis Maida, Okan Ager.
The most memorable part of the season was beating York at home, because we set a goal in the beginning of the season to beat York, and we accomplished that goal. And it happened to be on Halloween, and it was at home, so all things came together, and it was a great meet.
For the men, it's Keaton Burke and Pete Moyer.
Our schedule prepared us for the upcoming championship because we just got off of doing doubles every day with Coach Stevenson, and we're now like in better shape than ever, and we're ready to taper soon.
It's been an interesting season for us. With the conference now doing all the scheduling, we have people in different spots than we're used to having them, but it's kind of worked in our favor this year. I think we've done well, and we've been able to build up.
My favorite parts about being a student athlete at Salisbury is like the tight-knit community that every athlete's a part of, and like how you all know each other.
For the love of the game, but for those of us who are Division III student athletes, it's more than that, a lot more.
Sure, the game is important, but as we work so hard to build both mind and body, it's more about team.
That is why NCAA Division III teamed up with Special Olympics, and in giving the gift of sport to those for whom it seemed an impossible dream, we are working to make this a better world.
Help us keep that dream alive.
You can make a difference.
You know, really just looking for best times and to challenge the rivals of Mary Washington. I think the men's team have done a great job adapting and preparing for this meet, and I'm very excited for the results.
My expectations for the team this year, you know, it's been an interesting year. We've had some interesting things happen throughout the season, but we've persevered. We were a completely different team from last year. I am expecting some really good time drops, some great relays, and I'm expecting us to get together as a team as we've done all year and just, you know, finish the year strong.
You know, with any coaching change, there's always challenges. I think this team has done well adapting. They've kind of continued to work through the transition and toward that ultimate goal of swimming fast at the end of the year. But for me as a coach, you know, to come into a program and a team that's unified, I think that's helped tremendously moving forward. I think they've done well at staying like a family, and it made it easier for me with the transition.
You know, whenever you lose a coach or there's any kind of change that's this big, you really have to get together, get behind each other in every single way. I mean, we lost probably 3 or 4 key members of our team just because of how difficult it was at the beginning of the season. So we all had to band together, kind of get behind each other. And anytime you had a problem, you could go to any of our teammates. We were all there for each other. So this, in a way, is one of the best things that's ever happened to our team as far as getting behind each other.
The men's team is, you know, the depth is there. I think, you know, obviously Kyle Walthall in the breaststroke events, Morgan Schreiber in the backstroke events, and then just a handful of sprinters that we do have. You know, Trevor Britton as a freshman, you know, Colin Deslode. These are all individuals that could really have breakthrough swims. And you know, while I name a few, there's a lot, you know, behind the scenes as well that are going to contribute to, you know, swimming fast and the potential for moving up in conference rankings.
As a team, a successful championship would be, you know, at least 3 3 new relay records, personal bests on both sides, and just being able to come out of the season knowing that we did the training that we needed to do and it all paid off well.
Swimming, you can score 18 men, 18 women on both sides. I think having a strong squad of 18 men, 18 women is really what's going to set you apart from other teams. Mary Wash is a team that has a strong 18 on both sides, and that's why they are where they are. So I think moving forward, just with recruiting, with what we need to work on, it's just bringing in depth, and going throughout the season, having 20 to 25 men and women is only going to help with dual meet records in season, and then ultimately scoring the 18 at conference.
I would like to finish the year with two more conference titles in the 1 and the 2 breasts, and I really just hope to get some solid NCAA cuts this year. I'm really excited, looking forward to it, and it'll be an interesting senior meet. One of the relays we're on, I'm really looking forward to that. It's a new opportunity for me to be on some new relays I've never been on before as well. There's been a complete new focus in my swimming, so we'll see how that plays out, and looking forward to it.